All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another session. Great to have all of you. I wanted to first start off with just talking about self-love, because what you're doing in committing to this course is an act of self-love, and really got to give yourself props for that, because by taking the time and committing to some practice like this and developing and raising your consciousness, it's an act of self-love. And act of self-love always pays dividends. It pays off. So I'm going to start with a video and share my desktop. So oldie from last year. Let's see.
Thursday, a little different energy, a little different rant. And today I want to talk about the magic of thinking small. I'm sure you've heard about the magic of thinking big. You've heard about the whole 10x thing of shoot for the stars, maybe you'll hit the moon, and that's all good stuff. But the reality is most people never are able to execute on those type of ideas of really thinking so big, or we think so big that we're just either overwhelmed or we take no action. And so I want to talk today about the magic of thinking small. About 10 years ago, I used to give a talk called Transformation Made Easy, the fire, the secret of the fire. And it's really like when you start a fire, you don't start with a big, heavy log. You start with something small. You start with kindle. You start with something that's small, that's easy to burn. And you get it burning. And then the key thing is to give it the food, to continually, constantly feed the fire. And what that happens is when you start small and you're consistent, key word, consistent, you build momentum. Consistency along with the momentum starts to, the fire starts to grow. And then what starts with something really small and minuscule becomes a movement that can then take over a whole building, take over a whole house, and it becomes unstoppable. And that's the secret, start small, but be consistent even with small action. And as you continue to feed it, as you continue to grow it, because you continue to build that momentum, you become unstoppable.
So today I was looking in a book that I had got that I never really read. Little background. I remember when I was in my 20s, I used to read books, and I came across a study said that a lot of people who buy books, they don't get past the first chapter of the book. And I was thinking, why do these people do that? I finished books, you know what I mean? And here I am now older, and I have some books that I've gotten that I've never fully taken the time to read. So, but in the book, Atomic Habits was talking about, how the 1%, if you do just like a little bit every day, and if you improve yourself 1% each day, how it creates compound interest over a period of time. And that's the same thing with what I talked about is the secret of the fire, of starting small, building consistency. And when you start small, you build consistency, you gain momentum, the energy starts to expand, the energy starts to increase, and you become unstoppable. It's like a train leaving a train station. When it's first leaving the train station, everybody hears me okay? Just give me a wave if my volume's good. Everything's good. All right, good. So when it starts to leave the train station, it's moving slow, but once that train picks up speed, it can't stop even when it wants to on the dime. It takes time for it to stop. So the same thing with this practice. We're asking for a minimal practice of 10 minutes a day for you to sit, for you to tune into the vibration, feel that vibration, and just let that 10-minute practice of sitting, feeling this rhythm it's on your own rhythm right here in your heart area, in the heart center, right? They say it's in the heart region, but it's not your heartbeat. So you feel that subtle energy there. As you focus your awareness there, you focus your attention there, that energy starts to increase, it starts to expand, and it starts to work on you. You become entranced or entrained. You ever heard of the scientific principle of entrainment? When you have one vibration, another vibration, right? Whatever the higher vibrational frequency, when a smaller vibrational frequency comes into a higher vibrational frequency, it comes in close proximity, the smaller vibrational frequency will start to entrain or come up to that higher vibration. And so by doing this, you're tuning into this vibrational frequency. Then what happens is you're changing your energy field. And then what's in your energy field, what's in your aura, are all your thoughts, your belief systems, all this stuff is starting to then take on a different vibration. You're changing the vibration, your vibration. And as you change your vibration, everything changes, because everything is energy, everything is vibration, everything is consciousness. And so as you lift up your consciousness, as you rise up, you know, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're benefiting the planet. Somebody sent me an email a couple of days ago about not money vibration. They said, hold on, I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna have to pause. All right, welcome back. All right, so somebody sent me an email about when I talk about the word they didn't like the word money rhythm. They wanted to use the word prosperity rhythm instead. And I understood. I could feel where the person was coming from. I gotta catch my breath. I just ran upstairs and just yelled at my son. So, so the thing is, but I also asked the person to take a look at like what's triggering you with money, with the word money rhythm. You know, for me also, it seemed like I could feel it when I was reading it. It was feel like it's much more than that to me than just a money rhythm. But then we're going to do something. It triggers something for me to remember an exercise from 10 years ago that I came across, because the work we're doing here is going to help us change a lot of beliefs and concepts and ideas we have around money. And you know, growing up, you might have heard a lot of things like money is the root of all evil, for example. You know, there's a scriptural verse that, you know, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. And what that really meant is the eye of a needle back in those days was like, you know, all the cities and towns had a wall usually around it, right? In order to enter the city, the camel had to go through the eye of the needle. It had to bow down and come through so that people couldn't attack the cities. So that camel had to humble itself or come down in order to get into the city. And that was called the eye of the needle. So the same way, because of a rich person, because of their arrogance, it would be hard for them to enter into the kingdom of heaven or be, you know, be spiritual and be, you know, but it didn't mean that like, but a lot of these equations equated like you can't have money and go to heaven or something like that. You know what I mean? Or money is evil, or money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money, right? It's the attachment, when people are willing to put that ahead of everything else. So a lot of these concepts have been, you know, my mom used to always yell at me, say, money doesn't grow on trees, you know? So we have a lot of these beliefs and ideas of money that are there. And if we don't deal with these beliefs, they're going to constantly interfere with our prosperity and abundance. And so this one exercise I want to share with you, I sent out an email, you might have got a chance to do it or not, is to have some money with you. If you don't have money, it's okay. I sent the email out, and you got the exercise. You can go and do it another time. But I'd like to like take a moment just to introduce this, because it's a real important concept of simple exercise, but a real important concept of connecting to the spirit of money. And I've always done this with just like a dollar bill or just a single note. But what about doing it with a stack? I thought today, you know what I mean? I thought that this might trigger some people. And like I said, triggers are good because it gets us to look at things, you know, it gets us to look at what's the bottom thing that's bothering us about something. So with that, I'm going to share with you this recording from Anelia Beniz says something. What's her name? Hold on, let me get her thing. Anelia Benz, that's her name, right? Okay, yeah, that's it. All right.
Reconnecting with the Spirit of Money for Ascension101.com by Anelia Benz. It has come to my attention time and time again that light workers or people who are on their soul journey seem to be poor. They seem to have a lot of problems with attracting money into their lives. Obviously, it's not everybody who's like this, but it has been quite a strong pattern among healers, psychics, and even ascension workers. I'm not going to go into why this is, because basically that's not important. However, I do want to point out that you will have to work through your own personal blocks that are creating this particular problem in your life. And the exercise that we're going to do later is going to allow you to identify what your particular problem is and fix it, heal it. After you learn this exercise, you really need to do it once or twice a day, preferably after you've done your meditation. The most important thing about money that you need to understand is that it's an energy being. It's alive. Think of it like an elemental, a very powerful, very important elemental. I would go on to say that it's probably the most important elemental in your life today. That's because of the nature of the world we're living in, especially if you're living in a Western country where you need to have money to survive. Money allows you to do the most basic things, such as drinking fresh water, having somewhere to live, having clothes on your body, being able to express yourself creatively, eating every day. The most basic things in life come through with your exchange of money. Therefore, it's extremely important. Another aspect of money I'd like you to understand is that money is not evil. Some people will use money in a negative way, but money itself, nothing negative about it. Once you identify and you contact the energy of money, you'll see it for yourself. There is absolutely nothing negative about money. It's all inclusive, it's creative, it's nurturing, it's warm, it's beautiful. And I want you to be able to experience this. For this exercise, you're going to need some money to hold. Notes are better than coins, but if you don't have any at the moment, the coin will do. But next time, try and have a note.
So I'm just going to pause for a second, give you a chance if you need to go and grab a dollar bill or 20 or something if you have a moment. So this is going to get into the exercise itself. And for that exercise, it's good to have some tangible money in your hand. And just like we did the rhythms, we're becoming aware of all the rhythms around us, which we're going to review in a little bit. We're going to tune into the energy and reconnect. This is reconnecting to the spirit of money. And so it's a very simple exercise, but it's a very powerful exercise. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and start it.
And the bigger the note, the better.
The bigger, the better,
Put
she
the
said.
note
Okay, good.
between your two palms, resting gently in front of you. It's going to look a little bit like you're praying, but your hand's going to be resting forward so that they're nice and comfortable. It's really important while you're doing this exercise that you do not ask for stuff. I've noticed that there's a tendency for somebody when they're immediately contacting money or when they feel that they're starting to contact money to start asking for stuff, oh, I want a new car, I want a new job, I want money for food, I want whatever, it's like, don't do that. Think of it like you're going to meet make a new friend. And if you're going to make a new friend, you're not going to start by asking them for stuff. What we are going to do is first, we're going to get acquainted with the energy of money, and then we're going to allow it to express itself in our energy field. That's all we're going to do right now. So hold the money between your palms and clear your mind. Next, we're going to feel the note. Just feel for it. Feel it between your palms. Allow it to be there. Soon it's going to start feeling warm. There's a lovely warmth coming out of it. That's this first signature that you're going to identify about money. It's warm. I want you to say hi and tell it that you allow it for it to express itself to you. And then just listen. Quieten your mind and listen. See if any images, any thoughts come to your mind, and allow that to happen. The first time that I did this, I actually got an image of my mother pulling a note away from me, away from my mouth, rushing me to the bathroom and washing my mouth out, telling me how dirty money was, and that I should never put money in my mouth, and that I should always wash my hands after I touch money. Obviously, it shocked me, and it caused a huge block because I couldn't allow money into my life, you know? I couldn't allow money to touch me. It was dirty. I was actually quite surprised when I saw that image. I mean, I had completely forgotten about it. So I thanked it and I released it. And if you're getting any sort of negative feedback from this exercise, that's what you have to do. Just thank the image, the feelings, blocks, and release them. They're coming up now so that you can release them. It took me a few weeks to work through several blocks, and eventually I was able to just sit there and allow money to express itself to me. And the next stage is to allow it into your energy field. Your energy field is your life, is you, is your body, is your thoughts, your emotions, your reality. So once you have a good, positive feedback from money and you're allowing it to express itself to you completely and utterly, I want you to ask it to come into your life, to come into your energy field. And I can tell you it's going to be extremely happy to do so, because money likes nothing better than to be plentiful in your life. That's the only way you can express itself, to be plentiful, to be in every aspect of your life. So how this translates on a practical level is basically you let the note between your hands become warm. You allow it to become warm. You allow it to become hot even. And you allow that warmth to grow and to encompass you, to come into your life and the flow of it and the love of it. The signature you'll find is extremely similar to that of Mother Earth, because they are one and the same. Welcome it, embrace it. You can pause the audio here so that you can fully allow the experience to complete itself.
So at the risk of coming off a little too new agey to some people, I just figured I'd rather go ahead and introduce the exercise. I know it's going to help a lot of people. And when I came across it 10 years ago, I just like, wow, it's so simple. Like I could just feel it and just get the energy sense of it, the energetic sense of the money, and welcome that energy into my life, into my aura. You know, it's just a profound, and it just bypasses, you know, any resistance. And so if any resistance is there, for me this time doing it, I could just feel love. Like it just felt like there's love in my hand, a whole lot of love. And maybe it was because it's holding to my, you know, close to my heart center, that vibration's there, but it just felt like that itself. It's like, it's a really simple exercise. All you have to do, and you can do it regularly for a while, at least until you feel like, just hold some money in between your palms, feel the energy of it, and then speak to it. Like, you know, let it speak to you more so, you know, and then welcome it into your field. She talked about the energy of money being similar to Gaia, Mother Earth. And in the Indian tradition, there's Lakshmi, which is the goddess, and she's also feminine as well. And Lakshmi is, the root of the word Lakshmi is Laksh, which means goal, to have a goal. Laksh is to have a goal. And Lakshmi is the goddess she represents. You know, she always has you always see her with her hand out and just golden coins coming from her hands. So anybody willing to share their experience with that simple exercise? Nobody?
Pankaj, I'll share.
Thank you, James.
You know, the thing that hit me was just the overwhelming sense of peace as I'm holding the money. Like I'm holding it, I'm letting it get warm, inviting it into my space, my energy. And it was an initial sense of peace. And then when I invited it in even more of an overwhelming sense of peace for me.
Nice, thank you. And all experiences are valid. So, you know, doesn't think that it's got to be all lovey-dovey or peaceful. It's, you know, it can be something else as well. So
I'll express my
yes.
experience. So as I'm holding it, I felt a lot of warmth. It started getting hotter and hotter by my fingertips and palms, that it even made my hands sweaty. In the beginning, when I closed my eyes, the thought that came to my mind was, it's just me smiling a lot, like happiness. And I felt peace also, like James. So it's weird. I've never experienced anything like that. I would have never thought to do this type of exercise. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I totally agree. Like, who would have thought to do some kind of exercise like that, you know, and just kind of connect to the energy of money, reconnect to that spirit and welcoming that spirit into your life, you know, and feeling it on an energetic level. It's like really, really profound, but yet so simple.
Ida has something to say.
Yes, please.
Greeting. Okay, so everybody took everything that they were experiencing. I had that same. Oh, I had to come in. Okay.
Yeah, come a little closer.
So I had the same experience. I should have spoke first, but I had the same experience. But then I also had this experience of we call it peace, but it was just this space. It was like a space happening, like nothing was happening. Like I didn't even have the thought of what she was saying. It sunk me in to just a gentle space. And I experienced the heat, but I'm always experiencing heat. So, but that came up really quickly when she said that you're experiencing. I thought it was my own, but literally I was having that heat experience from the money. And so I realized that all things are energy anyway. So, and just shaped in different forms. So I'm in a physical form, but that's in a physical in its own aspect though. Like, so I enjoy this exercise. I'm gonna continue to do it because my middle name is consistency.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. So you think about like electricity. Electricity is just energy, right? You know, we live by it. Every time we lose our electricity, lights go out or whatever, we're like, all throw it off, you know. But that same energy can be used for good things, for awesome things, and it can be used for, you know, destruction as well. You know, people can get electrocuted and all kinds of stuff. But the energy itself is neutral. You know, it's there. And so money is the same way. It's energy. And it in and of itself, I would have thought it was neutral, but like when you really connect to the spirit, you see there's more there in the element aspect of money than it is just being neutral. It's really love, you know. It's really hard energy. So one more person before we move on. Anybody want to share experience?
Sure, I'll share. So in the beginning, I definitely went back and thought about, like, it came to me about my early experiences about money and what it took to make money as far as my awareness and my consciousness growing up in the family that I grew up in. And, you know, it felt a little tension. But then I said, you know, I release anything that looks like lack or fear or anxiety about money, and I welcome it into my life. And then I initially, like on the turn of a dime, like all that warmth and that glow that everyone's talking about just started to rush in. So it was really powerful to, release those limiting beliefs about money, and to welcome in those energies of abundance and prosperity. So yeah, great exercise. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. So you have that simple, and then I emailed the recording. I think anybody can just play that recording as well in the email. So you have it to use at your thing. So let me now get back to there's a button I'm looking for. Here we go. All right, so last week we talked about chapter 1, the rhythms of reality. This is going to be a little brief of an overview as we go forward. James, you got a great reading voice. You wanna handle that for us?
I got you covered, my friend.
Thank you. And you got a good mic.
Chapter 2, the basic practice. To become aware of the dynamic flow of cosmic energy in an infinite variety of forms is to claim your role in the scheme of nature. You are, of course, already part of it. You don't need to do anything to enter the dynamic and constant rhythm of cosmic life. When you claim your role, you invite all that nature represents to work with you and for you. When you ignore the ebb and flow of energy and activity around you, for the most part, you separate yourself from it. You're opting to go alone.
So I just want to pause for a minute before I continue with that. But do you see what this is talking about really here? It's like when you're opening yourself up, it's just like the exercise we did with the money exercise. We're opening ourselves up and welcoming in the love. We're welcoming in the energy. Whereas a lot of times we don't even know it, but we're like cutting ourselves off from the universal flow. We're cutting ourselves off from the world around us and opting to go it alone. It's like you're just relying on your own self. And it's like life becomes burdensome. It's a heavy thing to carry, opting it alone. But by tuning in and being like, when you start noticing all the rhythms in the world and the universe and everything is music all around you, you're opening up your energy field to become a part and in tune with it all. It's a whole new way of being. Next page. And just come away from your mic just a little bit.
Independence can be fine. Our own creativity is to be encouraged. Our own accomplishments are to be applauded. But how foolish we'd be to go into the restaurant business and ignore all of the resources around us, the supply houses, the designers, the bankers, food wholesalers. We should shun the basic resources in putting together our restaurant. Yet, when we think about bringing money into our lives, we readily cut ourselves off from the basic resource for our wealth, the ever-present rhythm of everything in creation. When we focus on those rhythms and we respond by feeling them to be a part of us, we inherit their energy. Rhythms of the wind are never ending. Waves of the ocean are perpetual. All activity around us constantly moves in simple, observable patterns we can respond to. Wealth can flow naturally to you from cosmic energy, even though they may be understood the dynamics. Wealthy people are in tune with this energy. Wait a minute. Something blocking my screen.
Oh.
All right. Nope, still blocking my screen. It's not you, it's something coming up on my software.
I can see it clearly. Wealth can flow naturally to you from cosmic energy. Even though they may not understand the dynamics, wealthy people are in tune with this energy that manifests abundance in countless forms for their use. Your experience of wealth flowing from naturally becomes clearer as you go through this book and incorporate the techniques into your life. For now, simply grasp the concept. You don't have to believe it. Just grasp the concept that making money is related to being in tune with life's constant and repeating rhythms. Being in tune with the rhythms of reality sets you up to mold the extravagance of nature into your own wealth. Awareness of rhythms is your first step, particularly awareness of your own rhythms. In the rhythms response, did you feel your own rhythms? They're there. And that's what we're going to get into in chapter 2, your own rhythm. And moving from the outward, the external into the internal. Go ahead. Can you see it now, James? I'll just continue then. Respond to all varied rhythms with a feeling of belonging to whatever is happening around you. This should become so natural that you won't give it a second thought. When you've reached the point you are ready for a technique to put you in touch with a specific rhythm that is your vehicle for wealth, your money with rhythm. So this is telling us when you're ready to go on to step 2 or chapter 2 exercise is when you want to first take time out. I want to move this class slowly rather than fast, because if this beginning foundation isn't done properly, the rest of it doesn't work. And so we really got to take time to get this right, to get that rhythm built. And so I just want to repeat this as when you've reached a point when you're ready for a let me go back. When you get to a point of respond to all varied rhythms with a feeling of belonging to whatever is happening around you. This should be so natural that you won't give it a second thought. So when you start really getting to tune, just like instead of feeling separate from everything outside having, you feel like connected to it and aware of it. And just like, just becomes natural to feel and sense and to just be aware of rhythms all around. And as you've been practicing that, now we're ready we've reached a point where we're ready for the technique to put us in touch with our own specific rhythm. And chapter 2 is an exercise that's 40 minutes long. You only have to do it once, but until you get that rhythm. Sometimes it may take more time. So let me just continue to read. This is your foundation for everything else you'll learn. Without it, you can't go forward. With it, you open the floodgates for all wealth nature bestows, and you correctly invite. So it's the same thing with the energy all around you. You're inviting that energy to become a part of you, and you're a part of it, and you're living in the sense of unity rather than separation. Your money rhythm is unique to you. To find out what it is, follow the simple procedure I'm going to give to you. We did a little bit of this last week. Some of you might learn your rhythm the first time you try the techniques. Others may need to try it several times. Don't fret. The number of times it takes doesn't reflect how smart you are or how spiritual you are or how anything you are. So it takes whatever time it takes. And if you still have not gotten to a point of being able to feel and grasp or tune into that rhythm, please reach out to me on a one-on-one basis. Please email me and let me know, and let's see if we can help that. But this is the basic exercise that hopefully we're going to talk about today. Hopefully a lot of people have gotten a chance to do it. But this is, like I said, once you really get in touch with this discovering your rhythm, then from there you go on to the basic practice here of just sitting comfortably, and for 10 to 20 minutes, allow yourself to allow your attention to be with your rhythm in your heart center. And then it goes as you deeper. Sometimes you'll have it'll be a physical thing as well, and body might move a little bit, but it's a pleasurable sensation, and that's a part of your rhythm as well. And just to know that your rhythm is going to change. It's going to sometimes speed up, get slower. You're just going to feel it vibrate and pulse like music. It's just going to move and groove, and it's going to flow. So anybody want to share their experience of doing that exercise in chapter 2 and what it was getting in tune with your rhythm? And so just to be clear, once you get in tune with that rhythm, 10 to 20 minutes, once or twice a day, that's got to be the practice. And we want to get really good with that practice and get that practice really steady before we move on to chapter 3 and getting our yes and no signal. But like, if you do nothing else but that, I mean, that right there is a very powerful practice of just changing your brain waves, changing your frequency, tuning into your heart center. And when you raise your vibration and raise your frequency, everything changes, So.
I'd like to share.
Yes.
Well, I have to be honest. I didn't read chapter 2 yet. The session 2. But the interesting part about that whole thing, I end up hearing a rhythm, but I thought it was the fan, something going on with the fan. And but it was a unique something that I never heard before. And I just like, it wasn't the fan. And so it was like this rhythm came to me, but I didn't hold on to it. So obviously, once you get it, you want to
Was
stay in tune
was
with
the
it.
rhythm inside of you, or what are you talking about? Like, could you,
Yeah, well, it was more of what I was hearing around me.
okay,
Well, unless that was inside of me because it was something that I never heard before. I was in the stillness in the 10-minute practice, doing the 10-minute piece,
right,
and then that came about.
okay, yeah, that can happen too.
And
You
it
can hear
happened.
sounds and visions and movements and sway and all that too. So yeah, okay, I get it now.
You see? Yeah. So it was an interesting piece. And when I'm like, wow. Almost like say, was that spirit? I went there, but I was like, nah, that wasn't spirit. But it was very interesting. So it can happen, but it happens without you wanting it to happen. It just appears. Like, I don't know how open I was, but it happened.
Okay.
Thank you.
So one thing that happens to me sometimes is my head, when I'm meditating after a while, like I'm just with that vibration, I'm sitting there, I'm with the vibe or whatever. And then sometimes my head just starts going like this. it just starts going. And then my body might start swaying and then it might stop and I just go right back to the vibration. So I just whatever movements start happening, just allow it. Somebody who's wasn't able to show up today was saying that they were working on their yes and no, and their daughter asked them like, what are you doing? Like, whatever that is, don't do that in public. Like, so somebody we haven't heard from, come forward, share your experience with us. We're learning from everybody, from each other.
Chair, it's kind of noisy here. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
All right. Thanks so much for having this class. It's really awesome. I kind of went step by step. And so like the way I see it, I'm not always good at following directions, but the way I saw it was you do a 10-minute in and out breath, right? Just to get yourself in the rhythm. And then the next 10 minutes is to focus on sort of, what is the rhythm here, right? And then you add another piece, which is anything else, right? And then you lie down, right? I got that right. So quickly, I was able to feel in my high heart, that thing you sent out by email about the thymus, that helped me because that's sort of the high heart. That's where I sort of feel it. But it's like hummingbird, like the flutter, right? And it feels like it's just driven by God, like it never stops. Like it's got such a nice, never-ending energy to it, right? It never fails, never stops, never slows down, never any of that. So that was that piece I did, and then I went backwards kind of to some experiences. I have a creek nearby, and I can swim in it. And I noticed a couple of days before the class started that I was so taken by the ripples of me in the water. So, and it's a very beautiful place that I can swim, and it just feels like you're swimming in chocolate kind of. So you sort of see all these ripples, and it's sunny and green, and it's just beautiful. So I put those two together, they kind of come together, like it's the hummingbird and then it's the ripple. So does that seem like the second piece of it could be that? Because to me, it's sort of like a piece of it. It's like it's the hummingbird and then it's the ripples. That's sort of what my rhythm does. It kind of didn't seem to be like the second part, but it kind of did at the same time. So, and then I feel like, just so I'm doing it right, then once you've gotten those, you don't need to do the 4-part anymore, right?
Right, correct. So I want to be upfront and clear. Once you've gotten in tune with your own rhythm, then that 4-part exercise is just to kind of prime you to get in tune with your rhythm. Yeah. And you might need to try it once, you may do it a few times in order to get there. But and the breathing part really, the circular breathing, it's like it just help you to relax, and so you become more sensitive to what's happening there. The hummingbird thing is a great explanation. I used to always use like butterfly wings as I would lead the guided meditation. I'm like, just tune in and just feel something moving there, like kind of, it's like very soft and subtle, like butterfly wings. And it is like, like you see the ripple in the water, it's waves going outward, right? And so the same thing is this continuous rippling effect right, from this heart center that's continually going outward. And the great thing you said is it's just continuous. It's like it's a spirit activity that it's like it's unending. And so it's unending flow of energy coming through you from the center of your being, right? And being in tune with that, where the attention goes, the energy flows. Whatever you focus upon expands. So you're focusing on this thing, it's expanding, then the frequency of this is changing, right? And the attention is going there, so it's getting stronger. This vibe, this vibration, this flow, it's increasing. And then what happens is your energy field changes as a result of doing this continuously, daily practice, right? So your energy, so what you draw in, the amount of opportunity and good and everything you bring in, you become magnetic, more magnetic to your good, you know, because you're like charging your energy, right? So you got to think about it. You're magnetizing all the time. You're a constant magnet in your life, and you're constantly drawing things to you. You're drawing experiences to you all the time. What consciously, unconsciously, it makes no difference, but you're drawing your experiences to you. But as you change your frequency and you're changing what you're sending out, because as you give, so shall you be given, right? So your energy is what you're always giving. You know, you're a transmitter. So when you walk in the room, you're transmitting this energy. You're walking the life wherever you are, where you're at the gas station, whatever, you're transmitting this energy now. You're transmitting this frequency wherever you are. You know, that's what you were born to do. That's what the light workers were really came here to do, is like to become like undercover agents, to come to wake up at this time and to transmit this energy. And we don't have to go on the airwaves and talk about it or anything. Like, we're just like these undercover agents wherever we are, transmitting and radiating this energy to help evolve and uplift this race and this planet, you know? So, all right, that's enough of my rant for today. What about somebody else? Lynn, talk to us.
So actually, before I even started this class, I used to always imagine like painting t-shirts and doing like mandalas and flowers that sort of flow from the heart, you know, if you do a t-shirt with all that right in this energy space. So as I was starting to do the exercises, I was using that as sort of my vision, you know, just the flowing of the blooming flower and the mandala that's moving, because I work and think in that sacred geometry world. So the cyclical breathing, I love that exercise. I kind of work in that manner anyway. And then I moved into the, you know, this mandala visual saying that just sort of radiates. So what I realized just now with the money, sort of that whole story about, you know, money is the root of all evil, or it's dirty or whatever. So when it's in my hand, like even when I was a little kid, my mom was like, I didn't like my hands to have anything on it. So just holding the money makes me feel like, I gotta go wash my hands. Or like, you know, when you hold pennies and then your hands are gonna smell like copper, like I can't stand that. So, you know, for a while when we were doing that exercise, it's just like, I just want to go wash my hands, you know, but instead, you know, I followed through with what we were working on. And so from there, you know, I felt it heating up. And then I just felt like, this pulsating again, right from the heart, the same space as the mandala and flower flowing, is like this beat that was going on, like right in this space. So that's where I'm at on that.
All right, thank you. Anybody with any life experiences, like anything showing up in your life, or is anything changes you're noticing in you just within the last week or so? I'm the only one who's feeling so much better. I guess I've been.
No, I am so. No, well, I'm with the business world, it's always a roller coaster. So I was on the downhill on this roller coaster the other week. And so within the last few days, just like everything is just like fired in, like all of a sudden. By tomorrow, you know, we're going from underground to top of the mountain. So
Wonderful.
yeah, going good.
Sean, I know that you, go ahead. Is that you, Joe? You want to say something?
Yeah, I'll say something, man.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, definitely in the last week or so, pursuing things that, work, which about, but pursuing things at work and kind of this approach with things, just even before work, just kind of also in conjunction to what I've learned and about myself and about this whole process from your Zoom meeting from last year. It's I'm realizing that, like, I'm almost starting over again and getting in touch, because money in itself, especially from like the first chapter, I realized once again, in conjunction to what we did last year, money is something I really need to almost clean up my association with it, and the whole, certain feelings coming up during the practices and being able to handle those by simply just releasing it. The fact that it's so simply said, but yet still is so profound when you actually do it, is allowing me to really like release a lot of for lack of better words, over analytical behavior, like over worrying, things like that. Just knowing that I'm in the right place at the right time, I'm doing the right thing. And so I might not be as far along where in regards to feeling my vibration yet, but I'm certainly discovering it, if that makes sense. And I do think that as this continues, I will be able to be more clear and more efficient in what I'm trying to accomplish, and my overall goal being not acquiring more money, but being at peace with the understanding of what money can be all about. So I've been wanting to share that since the beginning, but I have myself on mute because the kids are just the kids today. So I'm going to mute myself, but I just wanted to share that.
Great, Joe. So make sure you put in the 40 minutes to do the 10 minutes of breathing, the circular breathing, 10 minutes of being with your vibration, 10 minutes of feeling, whatever's going on in the body, and then 10 minutes to just lay down. At the end of chapter 2 is that exercise. So give yourself that 40 minutes and do it at least once, if not 2-3 times, if you get a chance,
I will definitely keep making that a priority. So again, as always, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Absolutely.
So it was one other person. Oh, Sean, you did the 40-minute thing. So give us the rundown.
Yeah. So can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you good.
Cool. So yeah, when I did it, the breathing really helped me get relaxed and peaceful. And I kind of like visualize my breath as like a spin wheel, where like inhale it went up and then exhale it like came down, and that like spinning got me into this like flow and rhythm. And then once I focused on my heart, I could feel a little bit in my heart center, but where I really felt it was in the third part of that meditation, just in my body. And it was just this like really like peaceful and beautiful, and what's actually amazing, I'll just like catch myself during the day with the same feeling, and I'll just tune into it, and I'll be like in bliss for like a couple minutes, and it's a really nice thing to go back to. And it's just like this like rhythm that just oscillates back and forth. It's like water in a bottle. It just kind of sloshes back and forth, and it's really calm and peaceful, and it's just light, and it's really nice. And in terms of like my experiences over the past couple of weeks, I had a promotion a little over a month ago, and I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of clarity in my role right now, and I'm feeling really good about it. And then in terms of like the money side, I got involved into a new investment, and I just had like no fear in it at all. It was just like, okay, well, I made the decision to do this, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to figure it out. And it just, I didn't know how to like start it and do it, and I ended up figuring it out, and it was kind of very easy to do it. So yeah, I mean, these practices are definitely helping me out.
So do you also get to the part of doing the yes and no signal, since we're wrapping up this session?
I haven't started the yes no yet. No.
Okay. Any person get to the yes no yet? All right, good. Not going ahead. You're staying on time. Somebody told me that they did it. Who was that? They got to the yes and no. So I want you to take your time, over this time and just, I'm going to go back to sharing the share screen here for a second. To this right here, the basic practice, sit comfortably with your eyes closed and allow the money rhythm to appear. It may take a couple of minutes. For some of us now, you get tuned to it. You just as soon as you drop your awareness there, that vibration is right there. And just be with it. Just allow yourself to rest in that awareness for 10 to 20 minutes. Just do 10 minutes initially. Everybody, 10 minutes. Just start with 10 minutes of that and being with that in the morning and then in the afternoon or evening, just twice a day. And just give yourself 10 minutes. Real simple, small thing. Like I said, start small, but just be consistent with that small action. And then just come out of it gently. Take your time to come out of it because you don't want to get like, it says if you come out too fast or something, you can be irritated or irritable. So this is it. This is your thing. Do nothing else but do this. Once you get comfortable with this and doing this for a while, then move to chapter 3, which is asking for your yes and no signal. And it's all there in chapter 3. But if you do nothing else, this is what we got to get good and strong with, because everything from this point onward is built on this basic practice on communicating with our higher consciousness and knowing like where are the beliefs that are blocking our prosperity and abundance. And so now we get to go to the next level of now uncovering those beliefs after we get our yes and no signal. But right now, like I said, there's no rush. Get this good and get this practice continuous and just feel the benefits of the basic practice, because it's just something that once you get into the habit of doing it, and it's so beneficial, it just starts living in the flow. It's something you don't want to let go of. You don't want to release. So that's it. Everybody's clear on where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing. Any questions? No. So we just want to get to the point of getting the habit of doing that basic practice. And it just, again, like I said last week, tuning into the heart center gets us out of our minds. We're so analytical and overthinking, and that's all that stuff. That's the land of the lost, right? You never really find the real answers up here, but you find them when you tune in. You're online with higher consciousness and higher vibration. You're getting the answers. The answers are going to come. You're going to get your yes and no signal. Now, for me, my yes and no signal is my finger does a little twitch when I get my yes signal. My head goes low when I get my no signal. And it can change. Last time, 16 years ago, when I did this exercise, it was one hand was the yes, the other hand was the no. And it's going to be different for you. I really hesitate to kind of tell you what mine are, because I don't want you to, go pre-program, but, at the same time, I just want to give some kind of example so that, you'll feel a movement or you'll get a signal. But like I said, don't worry about chapter 3. First, get really comfortable with just doing the meditation, tuning into your inner rhythm. Give that 10 minutes to yourself in the morning. Give that 10 minutes to yourself later on in the day. Simple. That's it. Keep it real simple, but just be consistent with it. All right. All right. We still got just a few minutes, 5 minutes. Anybody who hasn't spoken, give us a little something, share something with the group, please. Ajay, how's it been? How's your practice been? You getting into it?
Yeah, so I did the reading, and then I did the 40-minute practice. The Insight app was awesome. So that app really helped break out the 10-10-10, minutes. So that was really helpful. I really love that app. I think that was great. I wish I would have had it a long time before, but it's good to have it now. So I did that, and I also went into the body rhythm thing, with the money rhythm thing. And then when I got in touch with the movement, the first time around, my fingers started just moving. And it was like effortless type of movement. Like I didn't have to give the attention was there, but it's not like I had to, like I was banging on something or I wasn't doing like that. It was like the energy was flowing constantly to my hand and kind of doing that. So I wasn't all up in my head like, oh, I gotta keep this going. And then it stopped. And then I was okay with it, like, because it talked about that in the book, that like, if it just stops, then just let it go and come back to the, your money rhythm area. So that was a really good practice. The money exercise was really, really good. You know, feeling that warmth energy was really, really good, because like I realized that I always had this concept that like I felt like rich people were always cold. You know what I mean? And then when I got that money in my hands and I felt the warmth, and I was just like, oh, I was like, you know what? That's a lie. That's a misconception. You know what I mean? It's that just because you're rich doesn't mean that you're cold. You know what I mean? And like that was kind of like a thing that popped up in my awareness that needed to be cleared out. So that was really, really good to the money. And it really made me really realize that, like, you know, we talk about relationships, right? And relationships we have with our brother, with our mother, our wives, and everything like that. But I never really like looked at the relationship that I have with money.
But bang,
you know, and that was like really, really deep, man. That really made me realize is that like I really had an sorry my language, but it's an effed up type of relationship with money. Like, you know what I mean? I always believed in shortages all the time. You know what I mean? Though I might have been living in lack, living in luxury, I still always had that lack consciousness. You know what I mean? And it was just like, okay, you know what? I need to clear this, you know what I mean? Because it's not true. Because now I'm aware of it. Before I wasn't. So, I mean, the 40-minute exercise was a little bit long, you know what I mean? For me, you know what I mean? But and when I laid down, I could feel like discomfort in my body, you know what I mean? Because it talks about laying down onto the floor. So that was a little bit different for me. But you know, now I'm going to move into the basic practice part of things now and just kind of flow from there.
So the laying down part is important, because then after doing that 20 minutes, so 30 minutes really of breathing, and then 20 minutes of meditating, your body's like all this energy your body has to readjust to. So then you're laying down, it's like a shavasana at the end of yoga. You're just kind of laying down and letting all that energy digest and appropriate itself. And so, and it's interesting that your fingers started moving because you're a drummer and you play, you play with you do the Indian drums, and that's all with your fingers and stuff too. And one thing else you said that was really important, but yeah, very good. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
Jerome, you got anything for us before we go?
I wasn't going to say anything just because of my relationship with money. Like
That was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You reminded me.
No, I've just made a lot of money in my life. And I remember maybe 5 years ago when I began to resent my gift, and it all left. And then I tried to redefine my life as I'm just going to impact other people. I'm just going to make their lives better. The money doesn't matter. And I had a pivot point, and it was around the time when I first met you, where it's like, money's okay. Like they're not mutually exclusive, where you don't have money and that allows you to help people, or you have money, you can't help people. Like, I think the ultimate level is when you have money and you're willing to help people. Like, the money is just a tool to take things to the next level. And if you got to go ask somebody else to help you execute whatever you're trying to execute, then you put yourself in a helpless state. And so for me, I'm just back to the place where I embrace my gift, and I'm really excited about the ability to impact, both from a financial standpoint, but also with sharing my talent and my gifts.
Well, thank you so much. And then thank you for reminding me of the other thing that I wanted to touch upon that Ajay mentioned, relationship to money. And that's what really, like, a lot of ways our relationship to money is also mirrors our relationship to ourselves. And I started off the course today, the session talking about self-love and how this is an act of self-love. And you're committing to loving yourself, nurturing yourself by doing this daily practice of sitting still and tuning into your vibration. It's an act of self-love and self-nurturing. And the better you are in giving yourself that nurturing, the better you are also going to be of allowing yourself to allow this money and wealth come into your life. So really important stuff here. And it's all comes back, everything comes down to relationships, and our external world really mirrors our inner relationship with ourselves. All right. So thank you so much. Much love to everybody. Have a great week. Any questions or anything, you can always reach out to me with an email. All right. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. And thank you so much for this devotion to yourself. All right. And commitment.
Thanks,
Thanks, Pankaj.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye. See you guys.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.